Hey, this is my first video. Today is Wednesday. It's the day after our election, November the 5th, 2008. And this is a regular person's view on the state of our nation. I'd like to say, first of all, that the fact that we have got an African American, or someone who is 50% African American, as our next president, it really shows how fast our country has come such a long way. When our country was founded, when the Declaration of Independence was signed in 1776, there were slaves in this country, and there were black people, and now we've got a black person who has just been elected president. We had a woman who came pretty close to becoming vice president. Women were not allowed to vote until fairly recently. It's really an amazing story about the greatness of our nation. I did not vote for McCain, nor did I vote for Obama. The reason is because as an independent voter and a critical thinker, I decided to do some research and pick who I thought was the best candidate for our country. And as I did research, I figured, maybe I should take a look at our founding documents and see, where our founding fathers thought our nation should be. What should we be doing as far as the country goes? And what I discovered was that, based on our Constitution and on our Declaration of Independence, our country is really, really moving very far away from where our founding fathers wanted it to be. The reason why it's so important that I think we follow our own Constitution is because the Constitution, when it was drafted and when it was put into law, or when we started following it as a nation, that's really what enabled us to be able to build this country so quickly and to be such a huge innovator, to be a superpower, to be, we're the country that people from all over the world come to for an opportunity. And the Declaration of Independence, it gives us the rights, it gives us the opportunity for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And all that these people from other countries wanted, my relatives, your relatives, they came here for the opportunity, the pursuit of happiness. Nothing was guaranteed to them, but just the opportunity made it worthwhile for them to get on these ships, to risk dying coming here from overseas, and to be able to have a shot at living in this nation and being able to have the opportunity again to make a great life for themselves and for their families, and for us now that are reaping the benefits of them coming here. There are some things that really concern me, though, and the things that concern me is that we have people in this country now who aren't willing to accept the opportunity for the pursuit of happiness. People in this country think it's a right to have health care. Well, the truth of the matter is that it is not a right to have health care or to have good health care. It's a wish. I wish everyone could have health care in this country, and I wish everyone could be happy, and I wish everyone could have as much money as they want, but we aren't all going to have those things. And the reason is because in our Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments, we all have a right to our own property, and the Constitution in no way outlines that it's okay to take property from one person and give it to someone else. You see, if I have a right and I'm not infringing on anyone else, that's something that really our Constitution holds dear. But once you take something from me and give it to someone else, for example, healthcare, if you make me pay for someone else's healthcare, you're infringing on my rights, and it's uncool. It goes against the Constitution. However, I'm not in the position. If I were in the position to be able to flat out pay for other people's health care on a charitable basis, I would be more than happy to do that. I'm a member of a charitable civic organization, and I spend a lot of time and money and do things to help people who are less fortunate than me, and I choose to do them. And that's really the difference. One of the things that we're struggling with is, we have a separation of church and state in this country. what really makes this tough to deal with is that the principles of our founding fathers were Christian principles, meaning that our founding fathers expected us to be able to take care of people who needed it. They did not expect, or they did not want us to force people to take care of other people. So that's something that's really been an issue for us. One thing that's really amazing about our Constitution is, in our Constitution it says all men are created equal. Now, making that statement, we had slave owners at that time. We counted slaves as 3/5 of a person for the purpose of our electorate. What's really funny is when we elect a president, we do it on electoral votes. And the slave states wanted to be able to get credit for slaves as being part of their population. However, they didn't want to let them vote. So what would happen was they were counted as 3/5 of a person, and that was used basically just for their electoral votes. And so, we had people, Thomas Jefferson, I believe, was voted in as president over Samuel Adams, and the thing that put him over the edge was the slave states that had those slaves that were counted as people, even though they really had no representation. Later on, we figured out that we basically were running our country in a way that was unconstitutional by having slaves and by refusing the rights for black people and for women to vote. And we fixed the problem by changing the Constitution through amendments. If we are going to have, for example, socialized health care, there needs to be an amendment to the Constitution. That's not going to happen, though, because it goes against our own principal right to property. It's really disturbing to me that people have been sold this bill of goods by our politicians that they're going to take care of us. They're going to give us socialized health care. Well, the reason why healthcare is so good in this country is because of capitalism. If you go into, say, Canada, everyone uses Canada as an example. I have relatives from Canada, and they have a hard time getting in to see a doctor. Recently, Tony Blair, when he was Prime Minister of England, he had a goal to let people in England get in front of a doctor in 18 weeks. 18 weeks was the goal. I don't even know how long it was actually taking them, but that would be a great system to them if you could get in front of a doctor in 18 weeks. In this country, if you want to get in front of a doctor, you may not be able to do it today or tomorrow, but it's pretty doggone easy to do it. Now, granted, no system is perfect, and in our system, since it does not guarantee happiness or guarantee anything, there are always going to be people that lose out. But again, in my opinion, we're really moving away from the Constitution, and people need to understand that and need to be able to look at it. I mean, if you just look at our Constitution versus some of the ideas that are going on out there and some of the things that we're actually doing in this country, they completely go against the Constitution, yet we continue to do it. To me, one of the scariest things out there is the Patriot Act. We have these horrible things that have happened to us with 9/11. It scared the heck out of people, and we gave up rights in exchange for some security. And Benjamin Franklin had a great quote saying that anyone who's willing, and I'm paraphrasing, but anyone who's willing to give up some small amount of freedom for security will deserve neither and lose both. So please, I just hope that if anyone does get a chance to see this video, you take a look at what's really going on in our country. And every time some politician comes up with some great idea, take a look at the Constitution and see if it's constitutional. In a lot of cases, it's not, and that's why so many of our laws that are passed now have unintended consequences, because they're really not constitutional, and they end up coming back to bite us.